What is going on, guys? JT43 here. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to relocate your engine harness. So before I jump right into it, I just wanted to say a couple things, like the amount of research that I had to do just to do this for myself, because I just installed BCs, if you watch my channel, and I would like to go lower in the front, but in order to do that, I have to relocate my harness. And so when trying to research to be able to do this, I just ended up finding a bunch of videos that just like are half-assed, or like just not, you know, they're not showing the important parts of how to actually do this. And I think in general, I had to watch like at least 10 videos just to understand the whole process, when all I really should have to watch is just one. You know, if you're gonna be showing a process, show the process, don't half-ass it. With that aside, I figured I'd just say that because I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat where you're just watching a bunch of videos trying to figure out exactly what information you need. So I'm going to be giving you that information. Let's get into it. So obviously we're going to be working on the driver's side here. So we're going to have to jack this up and take the wheel off. All right, so now we are now in front of the car. Here's the front bumper right here. And then, so this is the wheel liner. Now this is a two-piece, so I don't believe we have to take this off, but I'm going to take it off in general. Just because there's going to be a screw right here. As you can see, I'm missing a lot of the hardware, so you know that is kind of bad, but there's a screw down here, there's going to be a screw here, a screw here, I have the screw here, I have the screw here, there's a nut back here, there's also this guy tucked back here. You can clear, I have it in 0.5 so I can show you a wide view of everything. Mine's cracked, so I don't actually have to take mine off. And then for this bottom piece, there are 3 on the bottom, which I'll show you real quick. Let me just take all of mine out. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. If you have a really clean chassis, you're gonna have more, but let's be real, if you're slamming this thing, you probably have a caked up one like I do. So yeah, let me actually see real quick if we got to take this out, because if we don't have to take this bottom one out, we won't. Yeah, nah, we don't have to take this out, and if we do, well, I'll take it out. But as you can see here, the nozzle that we have to run it through is right through here, so we don't even have to take this bottom piece out. So it's literally just the top. So obviously it's got the lip here, so it sits behind the lip, so you can just pull it out like that. And then we have some top screws. I believe I have all my top screws. So obviously you got 1 up top here, 2 in the back there. I'm missing 1 here, I'm missing 1 there. There's a guy here, there's a guy down there. So we'll do it real time, obviously. So I'm gonna start off with this trio real quick. So we got this guy up top. So we'll go ahead and take these guys out. There we go. This guy right over here. And I believe I just have 1 more, which is that guy down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out and then see what else I gotta manage here. So I got all my screws out, so now I should be able to just pull this guy off. Plus there's 1 more on the bottom, which yeah, there is. I just remembered that one. So if you come down here, there should be 1 on the bottom, or at least it hangs there. Am I missing mine? Dude, I'm missing mine. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I got my my wheel liner out. It was just kind of tucked behind here, so I just had to kind of like pry it out. But all my bolts were out, so as long as you have all the bolts out, you'll be able to take it off. It's just a matter of getting it out from underneath this lip, kind of like I did with over here, and then it'll be able to come off. But look at all the junk that's caked up in here. That is no bueno. So where I'm actually going to go ahead and clear this out real quick before we start any further. But the grommet that we have to get into is literally right here. Like all the stuff, everything we got to get into right here. And then obviously this is the little plastic protector that you know, pretty much protects the engine wiring harness. So if you haven't watched a bunch of videos before, pretty much what we're going to do is take it from inside the cabin there, and instead of it running up top here, we're pretty much going to unplug from inside the cabin. We're going to reroute it, basically take it off of this protector here, and we're gonna route it through in here and then out through this top hole back into the cabin. Let me clear this real quick and then we'll get into it. Yeah, so that's looking kind of better. I mean, it's still a little bit, but that's not what we're here for. So I think the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take this grommet off. So it's 2 10mm, one here, one here. You're gonna take those bolts out, and then that exposes the grommet. So now you can go ahead and pull this. You should be able to separate them. Yeah. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and undo the top now. So what I meant by that is these little clips that hold obviously the plastic in and stuff. And so we're pretty much gonna take the this casing off. So there's obviously this black wire that kind of runs along here. I'm not really talking about that, but it's what's next to the black wire holders that we need to get to. But if we want, because I mean, what people usually do is they zip tie this black wire here to this black wire. So we'll have to take the black wire out anyway, which we can probably do that right now, honestly. You just kind of pull it out of where it sits like that. And now it's out. Which goes back to the cabin, but now that that's open, we can see the tabs that we gotta take off. So there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and then one at the very end. So I recommend getting a pick, and then you're gonna pick the top here, and then you should be able to drop it. Way easier with 2 hands, but I'll be right back. All right, so I got the first 2 cracked open, but my kind of trick here, I have this really small flathead here, which you're probably not gonna have, you know what I mean? So you can also use a pick. Obviously you wanna be careful of the wires, clearly. But what I've been doing is just kind of bringing the pick underneath here, lifting out so that it expands it, and then pulling this down. Which, you know, obviously you gotta be careful, and it's a lot easier with 2 hands, but pretty much just expand this guy, set the clip, you know, it becomes like oversized, and then you can just bring this down. Yeah, you're pretty much just gonna do that for the whole rest of the way. Okay, so I was able to pop all of the tabs off, and now that I got the wire harness exposed, which mine looks dirty as hell, and it's kind of all taped up, which makes me believe that somebody at one point was in here. It doesn't concern me because my car starts and everything, but you know, it shouldn't, I don't think it should be taped like this, but I could be wrong. Now that we have this exposed, we're not gonna actually do anything with this yet. I just kind of wanted to see everything in here, and you know, if everything looks good or not. Everything looks okay in here. We're actually gonna move back to the grommet. So after you have those 2 10s out, you should be able to pop this guy through. This grommet part can be very tricky because you see a bunch of people just saying, just cut this, and then it jump cuts to something else. Like, the easiest way that I found to do it, and I'll kind of show it in real time here. So first you want to separate the 2 flange grommets. So what I mean by that is these are 2 pieces. There's the metal outside, and then there's a rubber inside. So if I just peel, it's gonna be a little difficult, but if I just peel, if I come to the back side of it, there we go. So I was able to pop them apart. So it's a 2-piece. So you have the metal part here, which is like the shield, and then you have the actual rubber grommet itself, right? So pop these 2 apart. It just makes it a little bit easier. Now this middle ball rubber looking thing, you're gonna go ahead and pop that through, which I think I did that trying to get this off, but this ball thing can pop through because we're not, you know, just leave that, just leave this guy alone here. Now in terms of cutting, we're gonna go ahead and just make a perfect circle around here, because all you really need to do is just get this sheath disconnected from the grommet itself. If you want to be extra safe, you can go ahead, pinch it, feel where the wires are. So the wires end like right here, and I still have this much to cut. You can cut straight down and then just kind of pry it open from there. Just be extremely careful, obviously, when you're cutting, because you don't want to snip any of these wires. So let me go get some snips. So I made my first snip right here, and now I'm just gonna repeat the process all the way around this little like groove here. you got to be very careful, because the last thing you want to do is obviously cut into one of the wires and then something doesn't work. And you better pray that it's not the ignition or anything like that. Alright, so I know my hands were in a lot of that, but I pretty much got the perfect circle. So I'm able to basically like wrap this whole thing up. So now, when we go ahead and unplug our stuff, this should be enough. If not, we can cut more. This is, you know, if we gotta cut more, we can cut more. But I think the only thing that's holding this guy in now are the connections. So we'll go inside and we'll start, you know, unplugging the connectors that you need to unplug. We're gonna move over to the cabin. So go ahead, open up your front door. Now it's probably gonna wanna like slam on you, so just like be careful of that, you know? I have a little knee thing for my knees here. But, so immediately what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna pop this trim back. Just like that. Just grab hold of it. And just pop it back just like that. Just pull this all the way back, okay? So now here we go. So you just saw me enter, right? So the first connector that we're gonna have to unplug is this lime green one. This lime green one right down here. I'm gonna try my hardest to, you know, this guy. So this lime green one right here, this guy's gotta come off. So I'm gonna try my best to film and unplug it at the same time, or at least in real time, because it is difficult, but at least I can show you in real time the connector. So this green one right here. So now we're gonna go a little bit deeper, right? So I'm gonna pull this all the way back as much as I can and bring the phone in here. You see this? Or you know what, maybe we can do a wide set view and I can just point to them, as many as I can. So obviously we have, oh, there we go. We have this green one down here. And now if we go up, you'll see this green guy right here. I can quality's ass, but you get it, right? So just remember that you have a fuse box here, and then immediately to the right of that fuse box, you have the green connector right there. So I'm gonna try and get in here a little bit more just to show more. Okay, so I'm gonna put my phone in here. So yeah, so we have this green guy right here. And if we go up, this white one right here, right where the camera's pointing to, that's the first white one that we're gonna have to unplug. This guy right here, directly where the camera's on. And to the right of that, you need this white one, right up here where the camera's at. Right behind this big yellow wire here, we're gonna need to unplug that guy. That's the tough one right here. This guy right here is a little bit easier. It's to the right of this orange plug right here. That guy's the easier one. But this one here, that's the harder one. The one with the giant fat white cable coming out of it. So stupidly, while I was in there, my big fat thumb hit the end record button. But I was able to, I mean, I already missed the filming opportunity, but I thought I was still rolling. I was able to unplug this green one, like I was able to unplug this green one right here. So there's two green ones. There's a mint green, and then there's a dark green. The dark green one is back there, but this is the mint green. This is probably the easiest one to get to. The second green one is probably the second easiest. The white connector to the left is probably the third easiest, and then that last white one is probably the hardest. But I'm gonna get the rest of them because all I was really able to record was this green one because it's right here. But I will show you the connectors once I have everything out. Okay, so it's now 20 minutes later and I got all of them. Now, I jump cutted, but this process is hard. But I'm gonna show you exactly what's going on here. Now, I was able to move my carpet. I did rip my rug, but it's a clean rip, so it'll look normal. But I'm gonna really get in here now and show you exactly what's going on. So we have this plug that sits right there. This was difficult, but I did it without taking off that airbag clip. So obviously here is everything, right? So the green plug that sits right back here is this guy right here. You're going to, so it plugs in on top, right? So it's upside down right now. You're going to push in on this guy here. If you need to use a pick, use a pick. But you're gonna push down on this little tab right here. It's gonna lift up and then you're gonna pull out. It's hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. This white clip right here that sits above this black relay box, it sits right up there. You can see it's like missing. This guy's easy. You pretty much just push down on this clip here and you just unplug it. This guy, fuck this guy. But what I did is, because it sits all the way up top, like it sits right in there where it's missing, right in front or right up top of this yellow clip here. And so the trick with this guy is I got a pick and I started feeling around up top, and obviously I felt this. I pushed this all the way down to the bottom and pulled at the same time. You're definitely gonna need two hands to do all of this. It's hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I think I am the first video to actually show what connectors and the tips and tricks to do it while in the cabin. So it's 4 connectors in total. Like I said, this mint green guy, he's the easiest, but there is one last thing we're gonna have to do. So once you unplug this mint green one, there is it's held in into the body by a clip. So all you have to do is just unclip this guy. Pry tool works the best, or a clip tool works the best, but I'm gonna try my little flathead here. I'm gonna try and get this guy to break free. It's probably not gonna work. I'm gonna have to like really yank on this bitch, but I don't have my pry tool with me. But yeah, there's one clip that holds this guy in. But you can see the daylight through there. So once you have all 4 of these, it's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, it's tough. And I have my car jacked up. So I had this door bashing into me the whole time. So I used my second jack to hold the door, which you don't have to do if you don't want. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It's tough. It's doable without taking that clip off. Everyone's, oh, you have to take it. No, I just proved that you don't have to do that. All right, so I was able to break that clip free. All I did was use these little like tweeters, and didn't squeeze, but I went in there just to get some leverage, and I just pulled up, and I was able to break it free. So now that we have that free, we can go on the other side and we can go ahead and start pulling that through. But yeah, like I said, man, it's tough. So now what we can do is we can pull these guys through. All right, so I see what's going on here. So on the back here, you can see a little piece of electrical tape that's holding onto the grommet here. We're gonna have to cut this guy off. That's what's holding it back because it's connected here. So we'll just chop that guy off and then we should be able to push this harness through. So this little rubber piece that wraps kind of like halfway around is what's holding the harness from slipping through. So I'm just gonna grab these guys. I'm nervous about doing it with one hand, but you know, I do want to show what's going on here if I can. It's hard to record, but I'm pretty much just gonna slit. I gave it a little haircut. So now it's just down to like a little bit more, maybe the width of my finger here. So now I've got some scissors here because I'm just gonna make a final cut, which once again, it's hard to film without 2 hands. It's more towards the back, so it's not like you can even see it anyway. When you're doing this yourself, you'll pretty much see that the grommet starts here and then it attaches all throughout. But you don't have, like, you just have to cut it at the grommet. You don't have to cut into the electrical tape or anything like that. So I got it to where one final cut will set it free, and now then we should be able to pull it from the harness. Okay, so all I literally did was just pull the cables through the hole because it's time for that now, so I can give you a better understanding of what I just did with the grommet. So now I'm able to turn and spin and do whatever. So pretty much right here, where is it? Right here, this guy was attached all the way into the harness here, right? So if I rotate it, you can see this little plastic piece was protruding into there. I basically went ahead and cut it out. So that was the last thing that was holding this, this harness into place. And so now that I only just cut this guy, right? So I made a perfect circle around this boot here. We should now be able to slide the cables through this little hole. But I'm noticing now that we might actually have to make it bigger because some of these connectors are huge and I don't think it's gonna fit through this tiny ass hole. Might have to make it a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can get any of this harness to slide through, like at all. Because I should be able to, yeah, like that. So now I should be able to slide this through. But obviously some of the connectors are huge, so they're not gonna be able to fit through this hole here. So I might have to make it bigger. I might even have to just slit right through here just to expand it and to get those connectors through, which I'll probably end up doing if I'm being completely honest. Let's go ahead and get these scissors out. I'm gonna try and do this as careful as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and sink this through while trying to protect the wires on this side. Get the scissor to come out here. Perfect, just like that. And then just in one big chomp, I'm gonna try and cut this whole grommet in half. Just like that. So now I cut my grommet in half, which means now the wiring harness is free. I initially thought you didn't have to do that, but I mean, especially the size of this white cable, man, like it was not gonna fit through that hole. Plus we can tape all this up because we're gonna need electrical tape. So we're gonna slide it through this metal grommet here. Okay, so now that we have it through the metal grommet, we can go ahead and slide it again through this guy. So, you know, we can't have this guy in the way. Okay. So now that we have everything where we need it, we can go ahead and start undoing the top and get this harness free. And the wind is currently picking up, which is great. Yeah, it has some clean ass paint, man. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take it out of the sheath. So we should just be able to open this up and it should be able to just kind of pop out. Nothing should really be holding this into place, but let me just double check. Yeah, nah. It could be some electrical tape up top that's holding it in, but I mean, there really shouldn't be anything. Yeah, you can see some electrical tape holding it. Okay. So this is an ass angle. I apologize for the lighting. We're just simply gonna go ahead and chop some of the electrical tape off. Maybe we can just peel it back. Maybe we don't have to chop it. It's just getting this annoying ass fucking, there we go. So I just pulled it off, so I didn't actually have to chop anything. Okay, so dangling wiring harness here. We'll go ahead and do the same thing on this side where maybe, just maybe we could break it free without cutting anything. I might just, yeah, let me just take this thing off at this point. We don't need this anymore. And I'll try and just pull it out. Yep, just like that, it just slid right out. So, all right, I guess you don't have to really chop anything. But okay, this is good. So now that we have this all free and good to go, what we'll need to do is go on top and we'll actually have to take the washer fluid nozzle out for a second so that we can run the harness on top. So I'll show you what I mean. So we'll need to take this 10mm nut off, basically to take the washer fluid top bottle off so that we can slide the harness in. And then once we have the harness in and established, then we can put this back on. So I'm just gonna take this off real quick. So now that we have that nut off, we can literally just pop this off. Now I don't have a lot of fluid in mine anyway, so it just came right out. But if you did have fluid in yours, make sure that if there's water running down, it doesn't get on the harness. But with that out of the way, we can go ahead and go down there and we can start pushing the harness out. All right, so what I'll do is I'm gonna be up top and I'm simply just going to feed my harness into this hole here and just make sure that it goes on top. So let me feed this guy first. This guy seems like the easiest one to feed through. Feed the clip in. And I'll just start feeding it one connector at a time. We'll do this white one next. Then we'll move on to this big green one. Okay, so of course, camera wants to decide to stop recording, but I'm pretty much just putting the harness in this way. And then once it's done going fully in that way, This will come over and then we will loop it that way. So I have it sticking out here. I'm just trying to get the last few parts of harness through, and you'll actually be able to see it here because it's actually like right now. Obviously I'm trying to be careful of not, you know, damaging anything or anything like that. My only concern is that because of this wire, this doesn't want to turn. So that's what makes me think that I'll actually have to undo one of these wires or something, which is not hard to do at all, but it's not looking like it wants to do that. So that's why I'm trying to feed it in the other side, but I'll have to figure it out and then kind of explain it because it's not doing what I needed to do right now. So, but I'm pretty much just shoving the harness in through like that. All right, so I was able to feed it through. You see my whole wire is through now. I was able to get it to turn at the top here. So now it's facing the right direction. You're going to have this other wire down here be attached to it. There's no other way around that. So this dude is just gonna come around like this, and it's just gonna hug tightly against the washer fluid reservoir. So then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and electrical tape this for extra protection, and also this guy here too, before I go ahead and run it back down. But this is the most amount of stretch that I'll be getting from this guy. Like it's like almost kinked. Not kinked, but it almost just wants to sit like that, and I'm ready to just about let it, but I need it to at least come through like that. I'm gonna go ahead and electrical tape the parts that I need to real quick, and then we're gonna run it down through this hole right here in the back of the engine bay. All right, so I taped up my harness just how I wanted it. Now it's looking all clean, So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take our wires, neatly put them down through this hole here. So we'll start with the mint green one, get him started. And we'll kind of just shove the rest in there. Come on, get your asses in there. Get your asses in there. All right, just give me a second, bro. All right, so we got the mint green one through. Let's try and get this big fat white one in. There we go. Next, let's try and get this green one in. Okay, and there should be a white one left, which the white one is right here. Yep, okay. So meanwhile, I am on the bottom, but I'm also gonna have to come up top here and just kind of guide the harness in. So once you get it started, and it is started, it should be able to smoothly go down when I start feed the harness down now, because we're gonna need to make it tight, because it's gotta go back through that grommet, and then it's gotta go back into where we unplug them. So it's gonna be tight. You know, you wanna make sure that you get it as tight as possible, but not as tight as possible, you know? Like you wanna make sure that you wanna make sure that the connections are good, but you know, they do need to be tight. All right, so I got our harnesses in. And so now what I'll do is I will slide them inside of this metal grommet first, and then we will put them through this little guy here, because mind you, I did cut to where it will be able to sit in there. And then we're gonna put it back, plug the connections in, make sure the car runs, and then you know, we'll put everything back. But I think the first thing I'm gonna do is put them through this metal grommet here, which I should be able to do that on camera. Done. Now it's getting them back through this grommet. That's going to be a little difficult. Just give me a second. Okay, so it's going to be a little tough, but you know, we got this. So now what I got to do is we had it through the metal one, which is perfect, but now we got to get it through the rubber one. So I cut this opening, so now I should be able to slide these guys through, like back into the cabin with as much slack as I need. We'll just say it like that. So we'll put them through the cabin. It's just a big jumble of mess. You know, trying to get connectors to cooperate. You know how it is, man. It's just That's a whole load of bull. Okay, so that time lapse was me pretty much figuring how to put this back together, like the correct way. So I have the grommet fully assembled now, and I have enough slack to where all the connectors should reach. I'm gonna put this where it needs to go, which is right, you know, you match up the holes and stuff. But before I tighten anything down, I just wanna make sure that all the connections inside plug in. So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, so getting into the car here. Like I said, I just want to make sure that everything plugs in and has enough slack. So we'll start off with this green one. This green one should have more than enough. We'll plug the clip back in, just like that, and then we'll plug the actual connector back in, just like, go focus here, just like that. So that one's in, which is good. Let's see, what else can we do here? Let's see this green one. So take the green one, plug it in. Just like that. Okay. Give it a little tug test. Yep, not coming out. Let's go ahead and take a look at this white one. Oh, there's tape on it. Get rid of that tape real quick. The small white one should plug in no issue. Right up here. Let's see. Need a little bit more slack, but it should be all right. I mean, it's already a tight fit up here, man. Okay. And now this last white one, this is gonna be a little bit of a bitch to record and to film at the same time, but I'm gonna try my best real quick. And if not, I'll have to put the camera down, but I'm really gonna try here. Get some more slack. Yeah, I gotta put the camera down, hold on. So we now have all the connectors plugged back in again. Now, just to be safe, before I go ahead and proceed, let's at least make sure that it starts up for a split second. All right, so I went ahead and plugged it back in. Let's go ahead and see real quick. Yes, sir. No lights, nothing. Perfect, I just wanted to check. Okay, so we're in business. Yeah, you can go ahead and put your interior back together. I did mine like way OD, so I'm gonna have to like really go ahead and see exactly what I fucked up. Like I literally ripped my rug. So, and this clip fucking broke, so I'm gonna have to replace that. Okay, so now that we verified everything works, this is sitting nicely up top here, we can go ahead and obviously put our grommet back on. So you'll pretty much just line it up to the holes just like that, and you'll take the two 10 millimeters and you'll just tighten them back up. All right, so we got that grommet back on. I'm probably gonna go ahead and tape some of this stuff back up just so that, you know, there's no access to the cabin from outside. And I probably should have done that before I bolted it up, but whatever. But regarding this wire here, so obviously we don't have the clip anymore to kind of have this like hanging there. So what most people do is they just like zip tie it to this black wire up here. They just have it run like that, which honestly, I think that's what I'm probably gonna do. I'm probably just gonna zip tie it up. You can do whatever you want. You can zip tie it to the orange or the yellow wire, or you can zip tie it to the black wire. It's literally whatever you wanna do. Just use zip ties or use electrical tape. It's totally up to you. But let me go set this up and then we'll go ahead and do the wheel liner. So you can't see it obviously, but I went ahead and just zip tied that black wire to the yellow wire. And now I'm just putting my wheel well back together. It's the same way that you took it out. You line it up, you put the screws in. What I'm doing is I'm lining it up piece by piece, and I'm putting screws to hold it so it doesn't keep falling. So I have two in at this time. I'm just making sure all my fitment looks good. I mean, The fitment is always gonna look kind of dog shit, if I'm being completely honest, but as long as it looks semi good, you should be all right. And then after that, you put the wheel on, torque it down, and then you're pretty much good to go. All right, so I got my wheel liner all fitted back up. So now one thing that I did forget is we have to put our bottle back on with our 10mm. So one little thing that came off was this grommet, and this grommet sits on the actual washer fluid itself. So I just gotta pop this grommet back in real quick. So I'll go ahead and slip this guy in just like before. Make sure I get inside that grommet. Oh, well, now the wiring harness is in the way, but I'm gonna try my best to get this guy back in there. All right, so I went ahead and resecured that washer fluid bottle top. I went ahead and put the wheel liner in. So now all that's left to do is put the wheel on, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, all in all, that was how to relocate a harness on a SC400. If you did enjoy the video, or if this helped you out in any way, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.